Travis the dream, and now she's fumbled the bag and got her and Travis into quite the predicament. So let's get into it. So I haven't really talked much about Ashley and Travis this season because they really haven't had much going on except for Ashley crying literally every single episode and being an emotional wreck. But this episode, they had a lot going on. So Travis, he's sitting there, he's all sprawled out on the bed. He's waiting for Ashley to come in so he could take her to Pound Town. But before they had a chance to get intimate, Ashley decides to run downstairs and grab something, and all of a sudden she gets a text message from her landlord saying that she has to be out of her place in the next 2 weeks. So she started freaking out. She's got Travis all sprawled out upstairs waiting forever, probably getting blue balls at this point, and Ashley's having a full meltdown outside knowing she has to move out, and she's too scared to tell Travis, and this just killed the whole mood. So now she's not in the mood anymore. So according to Ashley, her landlord doesn't want a felon to be living in his house, so he ended up kicking her out over it. And I kind of get the feeling that maybe possibly she didn't tell her landlord that he was going to move in with her, because she claims that, oh yes, I had pictures of Travis on my fridge. The landlord came over all the time, so he had to know that he was in prison and that he was going to be moving in with me. But she never like straight up mentioned, yeah, I told him he's going to be moving in with me. And I'm sure the landlord ended up finding out and probably tried to get his name added onto the lease. And then when they did that and ran his background, found out he was a felon and kicked him out. So according to Ashley, she said that she thinks the landlord was just coming up with any excuse to get her out of there. And I read a Sarcasm article, and I'll leave it linked in the description. They made a very good point. So they looked into the house that she was living in and how much it cost to rent a month. And it was listed for rent in September of last year for $2,900 a month. And that price was up to $3,500 just a month later. So it went up $600 a month in just 1 month. And 4 days after the price was bumped up to $3,500 a month, it was taken off Zillow. So that means that most likely someone ended up taking it and renting it out. And so that definitely makes sense. If Ashley was paying a lot less than $3,500 a month, it was definitely good timing for the landlord, because she could have been locked into like a long-term lease where the rent price was locked. And that would make sense why the landlord was trying to get her to move out, because the whole housing market was crazy right then and everybody was raising their rent and prices. I remember I was looking at houses around that time, and the housing market was crazy. I mean, it still is, but it was nowhere near as bad as it was about a year ago. So Ashley, she has to be out in 2 weeks, and the landlord is taking 2 months rent and her security deposit. So she's out over $6,000, which I think is excessive. Like, here, her landlord is already like making things super hard on her by making her have to get out 2 weeks. Like, if anything, just take the deposit. Why do you have to take the 2 months rent on top of that? So then we finally learned Ashley's big secret she's been hiding, and apparently her business has not been doing good at all, especially since COVID, and she's too nervous to announce this to Travis. So she's been selling this dude the dream that they're just gonna live real nice, and he isn't looking for work because he's just waiting to learn how to do what Ashley needs to teach him so he can be a part of her jewelry business. So he thinks it's time to relax and enjoy himself, and then they're gonna get to business when she's ready. But Ashley, she literally has no money, and she had to sell over $40,000 worth of furniture, and she had to sell it in a rush, so she only made $3,500 off everything, and she wasn't able to sell everything, so they had to leave a lot behind and just like leave it in the middle of the street because they didn't have any money to get it in storage or anything. And she had some pretty nice furniture. So she was only able to make that little $3,500 off $40,000 worth of furniture. And she's been selling Travis this dream that he's going to be able to work with her and they're going to work together in the whole jewelry business. But come to find out, she can't even afford to hire him as an employee right now. So she's too afraid to tell Travis this. So she's just being super passive aggressive with him and taking everything out on him. And he's confused as hell and has no idea why she's so angry and upset upset. And then she also revealed that she sent Travis over $80,000 while he was in prison. And she said that one day she spent over $70,000 on jewelry. And she said that's as much as she's made in the past 2 years put together. So right now she's in a really tough spot, and she was an emotional wreck and screaming at the cameraman to stop filming her and leave her alone. And it's like, come on, Ashley, you don't want them to leave you alone right now, because you want them to keep filming you and get as much footage as possible so you can be on as many episodes as possible, because you get paid per episode right now. And this show and these episodes is the only reliable source of income that you have. And so she flips out on everybody. And it was just crazy, because we went from Ashley and Travis just 24 hours before this. They're sitting there on a boat having the time of their life. They ain't worried about, shoot, she even bought him a metal detector and all sorts of stuff. And now 24 hours later, everything is burning and crashing down to the ground. And Ashley, she feels dumb because she barely has any money. She's going out of business and she can't afford to stay in Florida anymore or even rent. So her and Travis, they have to go back to Virginia where he's from, and they have to stay in a hotel, and that's going to be expensive as hell. I think Ashley made the mistake of having a few good months with her jewelry business and thinking it was always going to be like that from then on out. And she made a huge mistake and learned the hard way. And so they get down to the hotel, and I thought it was super funny because Travis is up in the hotel room and he looks out at the pool at Ashley, and he screams at her that she's the hottest one at the pool, as she's the only person at the pool. And so he goes down there and he sees her struggling to blow up that ring pool floaty that she had at her old house. And she told Travis that she just wants him to blow it up, and she just wants to get in the pool with him for a few minutes, and she just wants them to sit there, chill in the pool, and just pretend they're back in Florida and like everything is okay. And Travis, he didn't have time. He's all dressed up and ready for the day. He had his hair all done, and he has a million other things he needs to take care of. Like, he needs to go see his PO. He's hungry, and you don't want to mess with a stressed out man when he's hangry. And he has to go see his mom. And Ashley, she was just like, well, this sounds like all things that are all about you and just for you. Like, I'm sorry, if I'm broke and stressed out and pretty much homeless, the last thing I would want to do is just chill and swim in a pool. Like, that's something you guys can do, like, after you guys both figure something out, both have reliable jobs and income, and then you can swim in the pool to celebrate. But right now, you guys are just wasting time, and Travis wasn't having it. So Ashley started popping off on Travis, and she's like, okay, I need you to man up. I need you to get a job and help me out, because I've completely depleted my assets. I don't have anything worth anything anymore. I have nothing left to give. And Travis said, well, look, I thought I was going to be able to get out and chill and relax for a little bit before starting work, which that's the dream that Ashley sold him, that he could come out, relax, and eventually work with her. So he wasn't looking at any other options for jobs before this, because he thought everything was already figured out and taken care of. And that is completely on Ashley for not telling him what it really is. But Travis sees how stressed out Ashley is now, and how she pretty much feels like she's carrying all the weight on her shoulders. And so hopefully he steps up and gets a job to help them. But I just couldn't believe Ashley's out here lying about her income, then demands Travis gets a job when he calls her out about it. So Travis is upset because he wishes that Ashley would have just kept it a buck with him from the jump and let him know what to expect instead of keeping him in the dark about everything. Then he could have been more persistent in getting a job. And I'm sorry, but when you have someone like Travis, whose illegal ways of him getting fast money led him into prison, I think that is a terrible idea for him to sit here and pressure him to go out and get some money. Like, Travis just got out of prison for robbing banks, and I feel like if she pressures him too much, that may backfire on her, because he may go to what he knows best and do something illegal and end up back in prison. So it still appears that Ashley is still doing the whole jewelry business. She has a website where she sells her jewelry and an Etsy shop that she seems to do pretty well on. So, according to her description, it says that when Ashley was 20 years old, she started working at Washington, D.C.'s oldest antique jeweler. And then in April 2013, Ashley's mother helped her start her own jewelry store with just 4 pieces of jewelry. And since then, Ashley's inventory has grown dramatically. And at one point, she had over 200 pieces of jewelry. And right now, her jewelry business is only online. And it seems like she's doing pretty well. It says on Etsy that she has over 3,400 sales and she has over 35,000 followers on her business Instagram account. And so Ashley's website currently has 87 different pieces of jewelry listed and her Etsy shop has 86. So I'm guessing that's the amount of inventory she has altogether. But her prices on her website range from $750 for a diamond and a pearl composite wedding pendant to $30,000 for a diamond and sapphire Tiffany bracelet. Ashley's prices on her Etsy shop, though, are a lot cheaper for the same items. Like, you can get that same exact $30,000 Tiffany bracelet she's selling on her website for only $20,000 on Etsy. Or you can get the $750 diamond and pearl composite wedding pendant for only $450 on her website. So, out of all the things on Ashley's Etsy shop right now, her inventory totals up to over $385,000. And that's the price of a house right there. So it looks like she's definitely invested a lot more into her jewelry business. And I really hope things turn around for Ashley and Travis in the next 2 episodes. Like, I'm not going to lie, my heart hurt for them because I've been in a situation like that when I had a boyfriend get me kicked out of my place, but I only had 1 week to move. And I was living paycheck to paycheck, so it completely flipped my whole world upside down. I lost all my furniture, and I lost almost everything I had except what I could fit into the car at the time. So I definitely feel bad for where they are. But then I remember at the same time, like, girl, you were just like on a nice fancy boat doing stuff that a lot of people could only dream to afford, and having nice fancy dinners, buying metal detectors, and just living it up and being so reckless with your spending when you knew better. You knew that you were struggling and business wasn't doing good. Because you just have to be prepared for a rainy day. That's just part of how life is. If it's not one thing, it's another. And you got to be prepared for that. And so Ashley, I think her and Travis, if they can make it through this, I feel like they can almost make it through anything. I also feel like if you look up the phrase selling a dream, they should have Ashley's face right next to it. Because boy, did she sell him a dream. But I really think that Travis really genuinely loves her and is going to stick by her, at least for as long as he can deal with her emotional outbursts. Because I know that would be mentally exhausting to deal with that on the daily. Like, literally, she cries every single day over something. But now I understand why she's been so emotional, because she's been going through a lot that she hasn't been talking about. And let's just hope that she learns from this situation and stops being so materialistic and stops worrying about living the dream and stops living beyond her means. And I also thought it was super hilarious when they showed the scene of Travis calling his mom and letting his mom know that him and Ashley were in Virginia and that they were going to come see her. And then so when he's telling his mom, oh yeah, you know, we had to leave behind what we couldn't fit in the car. And the mom's like, oh my gosh, that's awful. And she's like, why don't you get a storage? And he's like, we can't afford it. We don't got no money. And his mom's like, well, how's Ashley handling this? And he's like, oh, she's doing great. And I was just like, this dude is a damn lie. But that's it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts about Ashley and Travis in this last episode in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.